Who can get higher? RVD or God? We're about to find out tonight as HBK defends his newly won World Heavyweight Championship against the man that likes to fly and likes to get high. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling here for your WWE Monday Night Raw review. We're a couple of weeks away from Survivor Series. The dust is settled. Shawn Michaels is a champion. Triple H is nowhere to be seen. And Raw is pretty damn good.
It's feeling fresh as the other side of the pillow. It's feeling good. It's feeling revitalised. And Triple H can just keep his big nose out of tonight. And I think we'll get along just fine. Until he does stick his big nose in. Because he can't keep it away for long. Can't he not? 8 days later.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about Triple H. We're going to talk about the opening tag team match. It was Chris Jericho and Christian defending their belts against the Dudley Boys. I liked this match, but it didn't really make a lot of sense. It was all over the place. It got restarted twice. We got Bischoff and Val Phoenix getting involved, or as he likes to be known now, Sean Morley.
Not Val.
They restarted the match after Jericho pinned Devon, but apparently Jericho's shoulders were down too. Then they restarted the match after the Dudleys pinned the wrong member. Because apparently, I don't know, they pinned Christian and it was Jericho's legal man.
It was a blatant violation of the rules, according to Sean.
So they restart the match again, and we have Christian and Jericho using the belt to cheat, and then that was it. Why didn't Sean Morley come back out and restart the match for a fourth? I didn't get this. Why did the third fall? Why was the third time? Why was the match allowed to end in a cheat, basically? I don't get that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think if he came out for a third time, I'd have tuned out because I'm sick of seeing him already. Interrupting every... how can you cheat and then the illegal man? How many times have we seen the illegal man win? See, by the end of tag matches, it's almost like that's forgotten about. But for some reason, this week in wrestling, it wasn't forgotten about. And we'll have to get to it, but...
Well, no, I like consistency. I just don't know why they restarted the match twice, but not the third time when there was blatant cheating going on.
And it's not a favour to the heels because one went against the heels and one went for the faces.
Yeah, so if they were favouring Jericho and Christian, they would never have restarted the match.
And Bischoff's all for entertainment, so this just seems like a weird appointment.
Plus, I think the first pinfall was legit. Yeah, Jericho's shoulders were down, but he was the guy pinning. He was the one on top of Devon. Devon wasn't on top of Jericho. I think the first pin was a legal pin. Yeah, now, we can argue and talk, if you want to discuss wrestling. But for me, I thought it was a legal pin.
Yeah, I thought it was a legal pin. But see, at the end of the day, it's not real, damn it.
It's not real. We got a Raw retro recap. It showed you McMahon in the hospital, Mankind entertaining him, and then Austin hitting him with a frying pan. Don't quite understand what we're doing with these Raw recaps. But you know what? Retro recaps, I'll take them because everything they're showing's good, so it is what it is. We got an injury recap with Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. JR and King talk about Triple H's bruised trachea. JR says that they aren't sure if Triple H will be at tonight's show. And heaven forbid we get an episode of Raw without mentioning Triple H. So I guess they had to make us alert that Triple H is still real, he's still alive, he still exists.
I have no issue with them mentioning Triple H, to be honest. I know around this time a lot of people didn't like him, but...
True, but he was mentioned a lot last week. Ric Flair was just name dropping him for no fucking reason. Hey Kane, if you hit me, Triple H will kick your ass. I mean, what?
Oh, true. I guess if you don't mention him, then it makes it a bigger surprise he comes back.
Would Raw die if Triple H wasn't mentioned?
No, it wouldn't. And I think they could have waited a few more weeks for Triple, maybe one more week actually. But here, you won't be waiting long, folks.
Terry tries to get an interview with Shawn Michaels about defending the first title. She says you're having your first title defense in 5 years, but Shawn Michaels corrects her and says that it's his first TV match in 5 years. And then he says that RVD deserves a shot more than anyone else, and he wants to say something to RVD's face. Now, he goes to speak to RVD, but it actually takes him quite a long time to find him.
Yeah, about 45 minutes later.
How fucking slow was Shawn walking?
Shawn... Was he in the wheelchair and he got stuck on the steps?
I fucking think so. Backstage with Christian and Jericho, they're celebrating their title defense. Jericho talks about Steiner costing him a title shot last week. Jericho says he has proved to the world that he is not a sucker. And then backstage, see Bubba and Devon expressing their frustration with the outcome of the match. Bubba says that you don't go into a battle without a game plan, but he informs Devon that He has a plan.
Can you testify, Devon? What's the plan going to be? Is it going to involve removing tiles? Val Venus doesn't need them anymore.
Down. Test versus Stevie Richards. I mean, not a bad match. Probably lasted a little bit longer than it should have, I think, especially trying to make Test into, a pretty big force. I don't think he should be going. I mean, it's not a long match by like today's terms, but it felt long
back here.
It's Stevie Richards.
Yeah, unless you're going to push Stevie Richards, which we all know ain't going to happen.
It was almost like Stevie Richards was more competitive than I was expecting maybe.
But they roll the dice.
I don't think this is what the finisher's called. I think he calls it the test drive.
Yeah, but...
And the test drive's not only a much better name, but what a finisher this is. So now you've got Test, a guy that's legitimately got 3 finishers that looks great. Big elbow off the top rope, the big boot, and then this. Test drive.
Maybe it's called a roll the dice, but Test's version is a test drive.
This move is not called roll the dice. There is no fucking wrestling move ever called roll the dice. Now, somebody might name a move roll the dice, but there's no default move called, come on.
Yeah, but what wrestler?
I'm not accepting that.
What wrestler in the history of wrestling would call it roll the dice?
I don't know, maybe Guerrero.
Mahoney when he's wearing the visor cap.
Maybe Guerrero when he comes out with the lowrider and he's got the wee dice hanging off the wing mirror. I don't know.
Roll the dice.
Anyway, good finisher. Backstage, Christian and Jericho, they come out of their showers, they're feeling good, but they realise their bags are missing. Jericho interrogates D'Lo, Brown and Hurricane. Where the hell did the bags go? And Christian tells the Hurricane, I thought you were a crime fighter. Why didn't you stop them?
Great line for Christian's the man. See, when it comes to comedy like this, he's undefeated. Him and Kurt are quite close to each other, I think.
I thought this was, I don't know, I just like the delivery of this. Christian said to a Hurricane, hey, I thought you were a crime stopper. Why didn't you stop them?
Yeah.
You're supposed to fight crime.
And he leaves it at that. It would have been funny, I guess, if he said, what's up with that?
It was like it was a bunch of jobbers really went in this.
But it's still great.
D'Lo, Hurricane, who else was in there?
Jeff was there. It's like, how's this guy
Yeah,
falling,
poor fucking Jeff. A couple of months ago he was facing Taker for the title. Now he's sitting here with these guys. Devon then pops his head in and shows them the bags. Then he runs. Jericho and Christian give chase, but they can't keep up because they've got the towels.
What's up?
Bubba then pops his head out the dressing room and goes, what's up? And they try and get to Bubba, but he slams the door. And now we have Jericho and Christian outside in the hallways with just a towel and not good.
Ass cream.
Backstage, Test and Stacy Keibler are there. Test says he's going to go and celebrate. Test proclaims that he loves his testicles. Stacy says that she loves his testicles too. Stacy says she loves the taste of victory. I thought she was going to say she loves the taste of testicles. Test goes into his locker room to shower, and then Stacy gets attacked from behind by Victoria, and Victoria just kind of molests her and shit like this and licks her face.
Creepers-esque. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, no, give me this. I think this is a much better segment than anything we see for the women today.
Bear in mind, though, Jeepers Creepers was out around this time. I mean, literally could have got it from it. No reason why it couldn't have been.
Victoria says she loves Stacey because she loves the taste of fear, and obviously she thinks Stacey fears her, so yeah. Up next, Christopher Nowinski versus Maven. I mean, didn't really happen. Chris claims that Maven won tough enough because of politics, and Maven played the sympathy card by telling everyone about his sick mother. King kind of backed this up, to be honest. Hey, Chris has got a point.
He said something about her cancer, though, didn't he?
Aye.
He's like, who cares if your mom's got cancer, Maven, wrestle.
Maven dives through the ropes, he attacks Chris, but then Chris hits him with a dictionary.
Ah, brilliant.
Knocking him out cold. And
but even these two, it's still good.
I would honestly go on it. I would go as far as saying Christopher Nowinski versus Maven is better than anything today. I mean that.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Christopher Nowinski versus Maven than see CM Punk cut another shite promo.
I'm not here to make friends.
These two are, that was probably the best line, but he said it
off mic.
Off mic, like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. But yeah, no, Christopher Nowinski and Maven, two guys that are far superior to Roman Reigns, in my opinion.
Which is mad to say. Just shows you the state of wrestling, though.
Yeah, Jericho and Christian, luckily, they find a locker room that is open. They go in, they're looking around. They do find some bags and they find some clothes, but it's like, holy fuck. Who the hell would wear this shit? And you've got jeans and shorts that look like tents, and they're holding them up. And then Jericho sees this like really ugly looking suit, and he's like, "Who the hell would wear this ugly piece of shit?" He turns around. We've got Rico, Jamal, and Rosie, and then Jericho starts smirking. He's like, "But hey, it would look great on you." Then Rico, all serious, tells them to get out, even though he ain't going to do shit. It's the two guys
Yeah,
behind
Rico
him.
was acting fucking big balls here.
And I thought the Jericho thing with Rico, I thought when he's like, disparaging the clothing, but then it's like, hey, but hey, it would look great on you.
Well, this is nothing more than a mid-card feud, though, and it's continuing throughout the show.
And it was great. It was great.
Did not miss with one segment.
Christian and Chris Jericho, what a tag team, underrated tag team. We've got a women's title match, Victoria versus Trish Stratus. I mean, good match, but really fucking long. World of Wrestling, Online World of Wrestling notes the match was surprisingly long. And I'm not saying that it was too long, I just thought it was longer than normally the women would get. So I don't know if there was a fault or if something happened.
I think we're just trying to push women more now.
Possibly. I mean, possibly.
You know what, though, this feud warrants a long feud.
But it was a good match, but it did feel a bit...
overly long.
Yeah, it did feel like Trish was kicking out of like unnecessary shit. But eventually Victoria hits the Widow's Peak, beats Trish Stratus. Then after the match, Stevie Richards comes out and Victoria starts licking Richards' neck and starts biting him, and Stevie Richards is all happy. So, I'll show you, you'll see. Finally, Shawn Michaels. He might not have been able to find God, but he found the next best thing, Mr. Monday Night's RVD.
You remind me of a younger me, but you're missing one thing. Rob Van Dam's like, what could it be? Enlighten me. And then out of nowhere, HBK slaps him across the face. Rob Van Dam gets in his face, and he's like, now you're speaking my language, kid.
Yeah, RVD with a slap back, and Shawn Michaels, RVD tonight, they're going to go at it. Now, Michaels has mentioned the fact RVD reminds him of a younger Shawn, and RVD mentioned once that he grew up watching Shawn. But there's not that big of an age gap here. Normally when you say that shit, I grew up watching you, normally that's someone from a different generation. Or if you say to someone you remind me of a younger me, normally you're saying that about someone from a different generation. That's not really the case here. It's like that Ric Flair said to Triple H, you remind me of a younger me, the dirtiest player in the game, or if Triple H said to Ric Flair, I grew up watching
makes
the Nature
sense,
Boy.
yes.
But I don't know if this makes sense. Because Shawn Michaels might be a bit older than RVD, but he's not that much older.
No.
Surely RVD was wrestling before Shawn Michaels even really got to the main event.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost argue that RVD got to the main event scene in ECW before Shawn Michaels did in WWF.
Now, you could argue that, and that's a problem for me, though. But here.
There wasn't much in it, right? They both got, and I'm not saying that ECW is on the level of WWF, but they both rose in their respective companies at the same time. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense.
I think Michaels is, 5 years older, maybe a bit less, around that region. But, yeah, I think Michaels does bring up a point. He's like, that's what you're missing, kid. Because Van Dam does lack that intensity. He always talks about that segment with Jericho where they mentioned his wife during the invasion, and he comes down and he does the spot, and then he fucks the belt at Jericho, but he's supposed to lift up, but he's out fuming, he just leaves and goes to the hotel.
What did Jericho say about his wife?
No, they were talking backstage about, like, we need to say something, Van Dam, to get you infuriated. And he's like, no, we're not allowed to say any of that. And then Jericho went out and said it anyway. And then Van Dam fucking lost his head, and he threw the fucking belt and he stormed off.
What a guy.
No, but that's fucking raw emotion. Like, so Jericho, I think, was right in that sense to use it. Because, I think Van Dam is literally one of a kind, right? But I think he needs to show a bit more of a serious side.
He's never really had a serious side, has he?
That's the problem. I think this Van Dam suits like 06, where he's like, I'm ECW's hometown boy, so to speak. But see if you're ever going up against like Michaels or Triple H for the belt, you need to be a bit more serious. Like the Katie Fick angle would not have worked with Van Dam. Yeah.
So what,
dude? Blunt on her dead body, Trips.
So what if she was dead, man?
We're all a bit dead inside. Trips.
Anyway, backstage, Christian and Jericho, they're still walking around looking for their bag. Christian is worried about his little general, and he said he might have shrinkage problems. Jericho and Christian find a monitor, and they see that the Dudleys are in the ring with their bags, so they head towards the ring. In the ring, got Bubba and Devon giving away the shit out the bags. They're giving away clothes, ugly shirts, pants. Bubba then reaches in and he pulls a bag of ice cream out. Jericho and Christian by this point are on the stage, and Jericho's like, "What are you doing? Put Christian's ice cream back in the bag." And again, I thought this was a funny line.
I think Bubba was overselling this, but it worked. He's like, "What are two grown men doing with ice cream?"
And then they throw their bags in, and Jericho and Christian are kind of just standing there, and then Bubba's like, "Spike, get the towels," and Spike comes from behind. He pulls the towels on Jericho and Christian, and they're naked. They have to run. They do this wee cartoon run thing to the back, and then I think Christian, for some reason, runs across the...
You see the silhouette.
I mean, couldn't he run behind us? I don't know.
It was funny, though.
But it was funny. Spike runs to the ring with the towels. Probably the most impressive thing that Spike's done. Although why Spike's celebrating with two towels that have been wrapped around two grown men? I don't really know. I mean, just drop the fucking towels, Spike. Alright.
Drop the towels. Right. Anyway, this matchup next should have been dropped. Jeff Hardy and the Hurricane against Regal and Storm. Devoid of any heat.
What has happened to Jeff? I actually wonder if he'd done something around this time.
Drugs.
Well, obviously, but I wonder if they found him doing drugs.
I don't know.
Remember last week he was in a tag team match with Dreamer and he never even got involved?
Yeah.
This week was pretty similar.
He's released pretty soon, isn't he?
And he's losing to William Regal and Lance Storm.
Which JR tried to hype up, by the way, is
best tag team.
the most dominant tag team in WWE right now.
I haven't seen them beat anybody but Jeff Hardy's teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fuck me. In the ring, we have Kane. Kane's scheduled to take on Batista. Ric Flair comes out. Ric Flair's mocking Kane, suggesting he's disappointed to see the Nature Boy. But Flair says, "I'm a 16-time world champion." Flair continues to talk to Kane, but Kane starts charging at Flair. But Batista then attacks Kane, gets the upper hand on him. We have the match. It's Kane versus Batista. Ric Flair in Batista's corner. Ric Flair hits Kane with a really awful looking chair shot. I just don't think the older guys are good with chair shots.
No, Hogan is the fucking worst.
No, I mean, it could be because they want to protect each other, maybe.
Hogan, you normally grab the handles, but Hogan grabs the sides and pushes it into their head.
Yeah, Hogan's probably the worst person.
I don't know who the best person... I mean, who is the best person to throw a chair? I mean, that one Richards hits on JBL. That's probably the best one.
There was some philosophy behind that.
I mean, Austin and Kane and the 01 Rumble, but Hogan is the fucking worst. Like, I mean, he holds it like you'd hold a... What do you call these things? A file binder? The way you hold it, walking to school or something. See some of the ones Hogan did, and then, like, are the guys supposed to sell it when Hogan does it?
I wouldn't. Batista then nails Kane with the power bomb, Batista bomb, and he gets the victory. Batista beats Kane. What a massive win for Batista.
Two big guys going at it. You know what? You can see Batista's going to be a star.
We go backstage. Sean Morley's with Eric Bischoff. We find out the trade is official. It's Big Show for Ivory, Devon, Al Snow, and Sean Morley himself. Bischoff says he was upset to see Scott Steiner on SmackDown. Sean says he can guarantee Scott Steiner's appearance on Raw next week. What did you make of that?
I think
trade.
I think SmackDown's been done dirty. I know Big Show's the champion, but I mean, come on, he's fucking mince. I mean, 4 for 1. Is that with? But was that factored in that he was the champ, and then Bischoff went, "Well, I need a few more to compensate." How's that worked? Was Morley thrown in because he's champ?
I don't think so.
Well, all I'm going to say is, right, Morley is in an authority role. Al Snow's had a really good match against Maven. The Dudleys have reunited, and Ivory's
Nowinski.
Yeah. And Ivory's added a bit of depth to the women's division. I think the simple fact is you've reunited the Dudleys.
Yeah, for me, Raw went all round. You've got an authority figure. You've got Al Snow, who's experienced, can do the hardcore matches. He adds to the whole Maven Nowinski thing. Like you say, a woman that's actually pretty good in the ring and is capable, and you can add into the women's title mix. And then you're getting Devon, who you're teaming up, and you've got one of the best tag teams to ever live again on Raw. I think Raw gained massively for this trade.
They did, but the problem is, we can talk about it's a WWE champion that SmackDown is getting, but it's not a Kurt, it's not a Taker, it's not a Brock. You're getting fucking Big Show. Now, if it was one of those three, I'd be like, right, all right, they win.
Yeah, but, I mean, Raw could have literally gave... Who's shit on Raw? Name me someone shit on Raw that doesn't really appear, but... Right, who's that guy that won the hardcore title off Brad? Stamboli.
Aye.
Raw could have gave SmackDown Stamboli and then Stephanie McMahon just awards him the world title. Are they really getting a world champion? Or is it just a shit guy with a belt?
Shit guy with a belt.
Well, that's what SmackDown currently have. But before we find out how Sean Morley can get Scott Steiner on Raw, we get some breaking news. RNN breaking news. It's Randy Orton. He says that even though he's hurt, he still has a lot to be thankful for because it's Thanksgiving. And Randy lists everything he is thankful for. And again, he plugs the whole Get Well Randy Soon at WWE.com email. Then we get Goldust versus Rico. Bit of a strange match. Literally only here, I think, to just buy a little bit of time. I don't know.
This show is let down by a few matches that just don't belong. Like the tag match, this match, like what's going on?
I mean, Rico versus Goldust.
What's Booker T? No Booker T this week? Not done complaining because Booker T's been a bit mince.
Goldust wins, but Rico was the guy that was scaring Christian and Jericho earlier. I don't get it. And then we get the world title match. Shawn Michaels, RVD. Really good match, but I mean, were you expecting anything less? I mean, it's Shawn Michaels and RVD, for God's sake.
Nah,
this couldn't possibly be bad.
The worst thing was Michaels' attire. I don't know what he's wearing.
Yeah, the Michaels attire was shite.
No, the entrance attire was good, but the actual in-ring.
Yeah, once he took that thing off, it looked a bit poor. RVD hits the frog splash onto the back of Michaels. 1, 2, big fucking nose is here. He pulls the referee out the ring, gives RVD a pedigree on the outside. Triple H and Michaels fight for a bit before Triple H gets Michaels up and he hits a backbreaker using the steel chair across the back of Shawn Michaels. And I mean, that was it. The end of the Raw with just the backbreaker here. I'm not saying it's not a good looking maneuver or whatever, but it just felt a little bit flat to end Raw on a backbreaker.
Like what I think should have happened is he pulls Van Damme out, right, and then he hits him. I don't know. Maybe he hit. I think if it just ends with Triple H standing in the ring with holding up the sledgehammer or something with those two lying beside him instead of like he literally hits the move 10 seconds later we fade to black.
I think even if he held at the belt, it would have had a better visual. Obviously, we know he wants the belt, but he could have at least held the belt up. But
it's a good move, right? But it's like a move you'd expect 5 minutes into their SummerSlam match, not the end of the fucking TV show.
Aye.
And for me, it's a transitional move.
I just think a pedigree would have had more of an impact. The end of a pedigree.
Yeah, the ending was flat, man. Like, I get it, right? It protects Van Damme, it protects Michaels, of course, and it brings back Triple H. But in reality, it does.
Fucking protected Michaels, all right? Because
he's what the fuck.
I think we'd have a new champ if Big Nose didn't stick his nose into the ring. But I mean, I thought it was a great Raw. I've no complaints. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yes, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 too. I think
Raw's back.
We're a better ending. I could be looking at higher, but didn't have a better and a few matches in between here and there. But yeah, Raw 2 weeks in a row. Brilliant.
Yeah, some good matches and the whole Christian Jericho thing throughout the night, that was great. And I miss that. Why can't they continue to do that in current day wrestling? Why is it fucking one and done? Could you imagine if Christian, see if back in the day, if that was one and done, see Christian and Jericho, the first match wouldn't have been restarted and that would have been it. You wouldn't have seen them again.
I know, wouldn't have seen them.
But instead, look at what we did get. It was fucking great.
It was fucking great, guys. But we're on the road to Armageddon. Looking forward to it. How will Big Nose win his championship back? But until then, peace.